The STV Radio Football Show is brought to you by C.R. Smith. C.R. Smith are Scotland's top-rated window and doors company on Trustpilot, rated 4.9 out of 5, with over 5,500 reviews. C.R. Smith have fitted over 1 million windows and doors across Scotland. They offer great financial rates, so you can get the best product for your home at an affordable rate. We're all lovers of the beautiful game. Well, C.R. Smith make beautiful windows for beautiful homes. It's an open goal. Head to crsmith.co.uk for more info. Now it's time for the podcast.
The STV Radio Football Show, brought to you by C.R. Smith.
Hello and welcome to the STV Radio Football Show, brought to you by C.R. Smith. I am your host, Ronnie Charters, and as ever on this fine Monday morning, I am joined by Ewen Cameron, wearing that same Hearts jersey as ever. Ewen, how are you?
I'm very good. It was a nerve-wracking weekend.
They always are now.
I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Genuinely cannot handle it. I'm a nervous wreck. I've got no fingernails left. It's a nightmare. It really is. Because we're now at the business end of the season. There's only now 5 games to go. We're into the split. There's only, 3 points separating the top 3. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's going to the wire. It's definitely going to the wire.
And
so, yeah, I'm good.
You're good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I worry about you.
I'm now. Do you worry about me?
When I'm away, aye.
Oh, that's
well,
nice, mate.
I should do worry because you cheated on me with that big tall fella that talks about. What's his name?
Gavin
Nooney, or whatever his name is.
Gavin Noon from Scotland's Coefficient.
Aye. I go away for 4 days and you're bringing in somebody else when I'm away.
He's a good-looking boy.
Do you think?
He's tall, good-looking. He's got a well-manicured beard. He kind of put my beard to shame.
That's me in trouble. And Callum Bell's still away.
He's still away.
So he is at the time of recording, he has landed in Madrid. The 3 weeks in South America are over.
So he's in Madrid now?
And there's no proposal. Because we'd bet our mortgage that if you're going away for 3 weeks with his better half, Cara, and you don't propose when you're having a 3-week magical tour of South America, the bar is so high in which you then have to propose.
I don't know if anything else beats that opportunity.
So he's not taking the opportunity, ladies and gentlemen.
Is he definitely not taking the opportunity?
Well, unless he's going to do it in the duty-free at Madrid airport, we're in trouble. So no Callum Bell, and we've decided again to bring on another world-class guest this week.
They cancelled.
They conceded 6 goals against Rangers all of a sudden. They didn't come on. How you doing, Col? But there's very genuinely a handful of people I was thinking of that you could describe as the voice of Scottish football. Genuinely.
Oh, for modern day football, he is the voice.
The voice of Scottish football.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rory Hamilton is joining us today.
Here. Thank you very much.
It's probably the longest you've gone without saying a word.
It was, yeah. I didn't know where to look. I'm just bouncing back and forward, wondering where I'm going to stand on Ewan's good-looking list with Big Gavin right up the top.
Yeah, do you want to see getting a word on edgeways? He thought he was working with Michael Stewart again.
So there's one Michael Stewart jokes, right? Okay. So Rory Hamilton joining us for the podcast this week, the voice of Scottish. I suppose we're colleagues now as well because the partnership with Premier Sports and STV Player Plus.
Yes,
see?
yeah, very
you think
good.
I've thought about
it.
Yeah.
I've had a weekend of rugby as well, so I've got to get my football hat back on.
Get your fix in.
Yes.
Do you do commentary for rugby as well?
Yes.
Do
you?
The
Glasgow Warriors had their European Cup quarter-final at the weekend and lost, sadly, to Toulon.
I thought you were just football and football only.
Fingers in any other sports?
Yeah. Well, you see, you've got to keep the money churning in. If you limit yourself to one sport, you're in trouble.
So what else do you do?
One podcast.
Exactly. What else do you do? So you got the football, you got the rugby. Anything else you add your voice to?
That's it. But there's a few conversations going on for the summer at the moment as well.
Off the World Cup.
No, nothing like that. I'm booked up.
Right, okay,
I mean, I've been travelling with Scotland since for over 20 years. So
Are you that old?
Just going as a fan?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
How old are you? I've always thought you were quite young.
42.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're 42.
42-year-old.
Can you not tell the bags under the eyes?
Jeez, he's 42.
He's got that Gavin's facial cream, whatever you want to do. Because obviously they're all good-looking men in their podcast.
He's got the Gavin and moisturiser.
That's exactly what it is. So you're going over as a fan of the World Cup, right? We'll go for a night out then.
Yeah,
So you don't need to protect your voice then for the World Cup, do you?
No.
You can just get drunk.
Although there's a danger because the URC final is the day after the Morocco game. So I've scouted a flight just in case I'm required on the Friday night to get back. This could lead to all sorts of trouble.
That's the Morocco game that we could qualify from.
Yeah.
I'll see you the next day for a pint, all right? Yeah. So yes, you can join us every Monday on the podcast where we will be giving you a whole take of what's going on in Scottish football, of course. So like, share and subscribe. Whatever video Ewen Cameron decides to put out in his car that week. You caused a bit of a stushy.
3 million views. I was just ranting and raving about the split.
I know, but you did it looking like Bono. And it was like a cross between Bono and George Michael. And I thought, do you know what I genuinely thought at first? I thought it was an AI thing of like, hey Siri, dress Ewen Cameron up as George Michael and put him in his car and sing Careless Whispers. I thought, I leave for 3 days to Amsterdam.
I know.
And you caused World War III. Anyway.
I did. And the thing about World War III that I caused is that it did actually travel the world because Callum, who's the producer and the third wheel on the podcast, was receiving phone calls from Scottish football in Colombia.
As was I. I was in Amsterdam and I had to say to the DJ, excuse me, can you turn down Katrina and the Waves? I've got someone on here ranting about you and Cameron. They didn't like that you were mean-spirited.
Is that the line?
You were allowed to say what you like, of course, but don't be mean-spirited about it.
So
we're all friends.
So quote-unquote was, you're allowed your opinion,
Aye,
but quote-unquote, don't be mean-spirited. At
don't
one
be mean.
point in my video
You
in the
always
car...
wax lyrical about being, we love the banter and stuff. You just went a wee bit too far for me. Wee bit mean-spirited.
At the end...
Aye, wee bit mean-spirited.
By saying that the SPFL are a joke, will
don't
always be a joke.
There's a lot of hard-working people in the association. Just don't be mean-spirited.
Okay, then.
Anyway.
I meant Neil Doncaster.
There we go. Even better. Right, you can join us every week as well, 2 till 6 on STV Radio. I wasn't there last week because I was in Amsterdam.
You were in Amsterdam, my friend, and I completely forgot that you were in Amsterdam, so I did it on my Jack Jones.
Yes.
How was Amsterdam? Might as well talk about the weekend while we're here.
It's just my favourite place. It's
a city that you can't really tell many tales on air from, though, usually when you get back.
I've seen some of the videos, trust me, he can't talk about anything.
That makes it sound as if that I was doing not okay stuff. It was just dancing a lot and drinking a lot. There was no other shenanigans going on.
No cakes?
No cakes.
No cakes?
No cakes.
Any puffs? Is there any puffs?
It was a Eurovision weekend.
It's a Eurovision weekend. Yeah. No, I mean...
Oh, you mean drugs?
No, puffs, as in puffs of smoke.
No puffs of smoke.
No, like a haze over the top of you continuously.
No window shopping.
No.
Apparently it's frowned upon if you ask if she's got a brother, so he just moved me on. Yes, weekend of Eurovision, lovely time. Get back last night and
you were hanging out with Katrina and the Waves, I know that.
Oh, love Shine a Light, won at 97. She did Walking on Sunshine as well, to be fair.
Oh, did she?
All the classics.
Still got the voice?
Still got it.
Brilliant.
Still got it. So my weekend was good. You commentated on Glasgow's defeat, sadly.
Yeah, I was very down about that. But
I couldn't believe it. It was on in one of we were in a Scottish pub, McGregor's, watching the football. And a few angry fans, put it that way.
Yeah, I think it's one of those, and not to delve too much into the rugby because I know this is a football podcast, but probably a few too many injuries, which the bigger squads can deal with, and I think maybe Glasgow not quite.
See,
if it was first team against first team, I think Glasgow wouldn't have had a problem.
So after the defeat to Glasgow, you're a wee bit upset, annoyed by that. What else did you do for the weekend?
Well, I went out for some dinner after the game.
Nice.
With some friends, and then yesterday was just a bit of a sort of
chill day,
relaxing
watching
day.
the football.
Watched the football, watched the golf. So I stayed up till
I was up late.
Rory.
and watched the golf.
I had Scheffler.
Yeah.
Did you?
And he finished second, shot behind, but I got my money back and a wee bit more because I put him each way.
Good.
Each
Well,
way.
I was too patriotic and went Bob. But,
Yeah, by the way.
What, Bob? What was it? What? His language.
I've interviewed him a number of times, right? He's a wonderful human being. But what I love about him more than anything else is the money, the fame, the PGA, the glitz and glamour will not change that man from Oban.
Well, you saw the, he got a bit of a telling off, I think, from the Augusta officials or whatever it was. And then the post that went up afterwards of the wee gnome.
Wonderful human being.
Was there not a decision made by the hierarchy at Augusta that they wouldn't show Robert on the telly again?
Just because it was...
Well, they barely showed him for the first 2 rounds anyway.
Right,
It was paired with Scheffler. You wouldn't even know it.
No.
Your weekend?
It was, as I said at the top of the show, nerve-wracking. I don't like the weekends now. I want the season over with sooner rather than later, with Hearts obviously winning the league. But my anxiety and my fear kicks in on Friday night.
Yeah.
As you're looking forward to the game on the Saturday, and then Saturday morning drags, Saturday afternoon drags, and then when Motherwell take the lead, it's the worst feeling ever. And then it's the best feeling ever when you hear that Hearts have got a penalty, and then you start to worry, please score the goal, and then when the goal goes in, then your weekend begins, because you've got the 3 points, you can relax, you can chill, and then you can enjoy your weekend. But it's horrible.
I got you a present.
From Amsterdam!
From Amsterdam.
Did you? Well, I'll be able to puff it.
Just
can open it.
Hold that thought. Remember that.
Am I allowed to
Of course
open
you
it?
can. It's like for the viewers. I saw it and thought of you. Hold it up to the camera. Dick for a dick. There it is. And you know, after scouring for a while, that was the most PC one I could get you. There was a lot worse going on. A lot more graphic detail involved. But I thought, there you go. You're welcome.
I will be opening up my bottles of beer with my dick
See?
from here on in. Thank you, my friend.
So you'll see that and think of me.
Yes, every time. Thank you,
Right,
Ronnie.
let's get to your comments. Because again, you broke the internet. And there's a phrase that's now been described. You now have a name. Do you know this? No.
No.
You're now known as Spewing Ewan Cameron.
And
Spewing Ewan.
here's the thing, right? And what you will find with anyone who was critical or had criticised my rant, they all happen to be mostly from the same support, which was Celtic. And I'm not surprised, because the split's been very good to them.
Maybe they were just fans of fashion. And didn't like that you looked like a George Michael. Ben has commented, is Ewan's favourite hobby stepping on rakes, a face that could sink 1,000 ships?
I'm not that bad. Come on,
you-
Rory.
I think you're doing well for yourself.
You
Cheers,
need
mate.
to watch Rory as well, because not only do we get hate or poked fun at, our guests do as well.
Yes. Well,
I'm
we
sure
were joined
that's-
by the lovely Ian Mitchell from This Is Ibrox podcast.
Yeah, last
obviously
week.
very happy with the result yesterday. However, a comment dropped in my feed that I thought, your guest has the charisma of a piece of bread with no butter. Lovely, Ian.
Every week.
At least when it comes to my one, I won't be here when you get to read out the comments. That's all right.
Mate, we'll text you. Don't you worry.
We'll get you involved. We did get a lot of love and praise last week because we were big on men's mental health. Chris, lot of good
messages.
stuff.
Yes.
And I, again, received a few DMs from a few guys who thanked us, and
Yes.
I put them in touch with the right people to get the right help.
Yes.
3 different people.
Yeah.
So very
really
good for them.
important. So by the way, well done to Chris, because he did inspire quite a
100
few men
absolutely.
to step forward and for the first time open up about having issues. And that's half the battle, is actually admitting you've got a problem and then sharing that with somebody. So well done to Chris.
And also a big well done to Cahonas Scotland this weekend.
Yes.
This was the weekend where we all sort of raised awareness for testicular cancer that would be paired with the PFA Scotland.
Yeah.
And all the teams got involved. So another great and another very, very important campaign as well.
100%. Check yourselves.
Check yourself.
And if there's any abnormality, no matter how small it is, go and get it checked out.
Amen to that. Right. Jokes.
If you, see, people,
I'm not reading out that one that you sent me. That's just disgusting.
I think you should read it out.
No.
Why is it disgusting?
Because it is.
Read it out. Let the audience be the judge. Let Rory be the judge.
Right. We're going to soil the great name of Rory Hamilton in this podcast.
We
aren't
can
we?
judge this whether or not it's a bad one.
I went on a date last week and it was going really well. We went back to my place and I whipped down my shorts. My date immediately started laughing. I said, look, love, it may look like an inch, but it smells like a foot.
I think that's perfectly acceptable.
See?
Not the scenario, the joke
No,
itself.
really, Rory. No, you don't want that scenario, do you?
Right, can I give you my three now?
Go on.
Shout out to Alana, who sent this in from Irvine.
Okay.
Two robbers were robbing an off licences. One turned to the other and said, "Is this whiskey?" And the other one said, "Yes, it is whiskey, but not as whiskey as robbing a bank."
Not as whiskey as robbing a bank. Yeah.
Right, okay.
I still think the one I sent him's better.
This is from Callum in Stranraer. Paddy's struggling down the road with a wardrobe, carrying
he?
it from one end of the street to the other. Someone
Yeah.
shouts over to him. He says, "Can Mick no help?" He says, "He's inside holding the clothes." I quite like, quite like that one.
Yeah.
And then the final one that comes from David in Montrose. David, this is David's joke. He sent this on Instagram. A guy takes his talking magic dog into a pub. Mm-hmm. Barman says, "I'm sorry, pal, but there's no dogs allowed in here." He says, no. It's a magic dog. It talks." He says, "Right, go on. Ask that question then." All right. So he says, "Right, what do you call that thing on top of a house?"
A roof.
The dog goes, "Roof."
Yeah.
The guy says, no, I'm not having that. Get him out. He says, "No, trust me." He says, "Right, ask it another question." He says, "Right, okay. He says, like, name the Partick Thistle legend and former Scotland goalkeeper." The dog goes, "Rough." He says, "Right, name it. They walk outside. The guy looks at the dog, says, "Come on, big man." The dog says, "What should I say, Jim Leighton?" David in Montrose. Well done, David in Montrose.
Well done,
That was
David.
good.
Thanks
Right.
for that, mate.
Where have we got? Is that us? We're back to the football. We're into the football.
Right, where are we starting?
Let's start chronologically then, because I was in a bar in Amsterdam.
We're going
course.
backwards.
Aye.
Okay.
Bar in Amsterdam yesterday, feeling a wee bit worse for wear. And all of a sudden, at the back of the room where the Rangers game was on, big shouts from Celtic fans when Falkirk go 2-0 up. And you thought, oh, wait a minute here. And then it finished 6-3.
6-3.
Unbelievable.
What a game that was. Did you watch it, Rory?
That was a bonkers game
Wasn't
of
it?
football. Yeah. You could not see that even at halftime.
Nah.
Because and Falkirk have been pretty good defensively this
Absolutely.
season, and for it to fall apart the way it did was, well, I mean, you've got to say fair play to Rangers for battering in 5 second half goals when they first half, I would say, is from their point of view, one of the most concerning 45 minutes of their season, to then go into possibly the best 45 minutes of their
Yeah.
season.
It was night and day, wasn't it?
Rangers fans would have been at half-time going, oh no.
See, at half time, I was straight on TX.
Of course you were.
I was straight on TX. I had 3 drafts ready to go for full time, right? Right? 3 drafts
You'd
all
never
ready to
learn.
go, right? And I noticed so many Rangers fans were saying, like, sack Danny Rule now and all this. I mean, they were so upset and angry, and I get it. I mean, it's the business end of the season, and Rangers go into that game and they're getting blown apart by a Falkirk team who every time went forward in that first half, you thought they were going to score a goal.
Calvin Miller is a fantastic football player who I think would be so unlucky to the form he's in.
Yeah.
And
Would you take him?
I would take him in a heartbeat.
Would you, Rory, as a Scotland foot soldier?
I think he, amongst a few others, need to be in the conversation because we need some attacking balance. If you take Ben Gannon-Doak out of the Scotland team, of which he has had injury issues over the years, I think that we have a real problem out wide with
Pace
whereas
and
it
creativity
just isn't
and-
there.
Yeah.
So I think Calvin Miller brings that. I know Finlay Curtis was in the last squad. But I think Calvin Miller you have to get a look at these guys. And there's quite a few also strikers now.
Yep.
Oh, God, aye.
Scoring some goals. Ross Stewart
again.
is another that I think you need to have a look at these guys in the squad. Maybe the last couple of friendlies was maybe a bit of an opportunity missed.
I completely agree.
I watched McBurney play in a really big game the other night there. It finished 0-0, but his hold-up play and his flicks and winning the headers, and he's got a wee bit of pace about him. He's also, for me, in the conversation. Barney Stewart is in the
Yeah.
conversation.
How great would it be if there was 3 Falkirk players, including Scott Bain as well, who I think is probably going to be on the plane.
He will be on the
as one of
plane.
the goalkeepers. Wouldn't that be amazing for a club like Falkirk to have 3
Crazy.
even just to have 3 potential in the mix?
Aye.
From a team like Falkirk when they were in League 2 years ago.
Aye.
Fantastic.
You get a wee windfall as well for
Absolutely. You get a wee bit of,
We get a wee bit of money. to the game itself, I thought Falkirk were outstanding in that first half, and they've done that all season. Never in a month of Sundays did I see them conceding 6 goals, or I don't think anybody did. And I think what everyone was thinking at the time, including myself, was the best that Rangers are going to get out of this game is a draw. I just couldn't see Falkirk losing the game, especially even at 2-1. I just thought they've got another goal in them. This could finish 3-3.
That first goal really seemed to affect them, though, because they were so convinced that the ball was out of play.
Yeah.
And they all stopped. And of course, then the decision doesn't go their way. I've not seen an angle that can confirm that the ball was out.
I have.
Is it a fan video?
It's a fan video. There is an actual
There
angle.
is, genuinely, and I agree. I think it's in.
It's in.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
If John McGlynn, you're tearing your hair out. No, you're no if you're John McGlynn. But you know, you're so frustrated that you're play the whistle.
He said it, didn't he? He was like, you learn that at under 10s.
The thing about that performance in the second half, and I think you're right, I think that spooked them. The conceding of that goal just before half-time.
It's such a psychological
massive
damage.
Yeah. Massive, because Rangers go in with a spring in their step, and their team talk is a very different team talk to what it would have been had they been 2-0 down. And they come out in the second half and they blitz Falkirk by scoring 5 goals. That, for me, is a worry for Hearts and Celtic. Hearts and Celtic were, particularly Celtic, I thought were awful at the weekend, but we'll get to that shortly. But for me, that Rangers performance in the second half scares me as a Hearts fan, because they might be conceding goals, but they're scoring goals for fun. Is that not like 6 in that game, 4 in the previous one, and 4 in the one before that?
14 goals in
3 games.
Whereas Celtic have scored 3 in 3 games.
And I think if you take the halftime barrier, it's something like 13 minutes of football. They scored 4 goals in.
Was that the time? Was that a time frame?
Well, because it was 42 minutes, and then they scored straight away in the second half. 2 minutes in?
I think they're the only country, they're the only club in the top flight that can do that to a team. I don't think any other team can do that. They've not got the capabilities or the firepower to do that. I can't see Hearts doing it to that extent.
I did read on X last night that they think that Miovski could be the new Lafferty from a few seasons back.
But he tore it up in the last 6 games and
when
won
he tore it up. Do you know what I'm talking about, Rory?
Yeah.
Could Miovski be that player? Because he's been good since he's come back and he's scored a couple of goals.
And he's proven it at this level.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. He was brilliant as an Aberdeen player. He's not quite hit it with Rangers, but you know, they've gone for this Chermiti Naderi as their front two, and Miovski sort of has to sit on the sidelines and wait for his 20 minutes at the end. Now he's going to get his opportunity, because clearly they're better with a 2 up top than
100%.
Just one.
Yeah. And the thing about Falkirk is that they couldn't cope with that change. But what changed for me watching the game was that the Falkirk midfield went missing, and what they were doing great in the first half completely bypassed them in the second half. Yeah. And I thought that Raskin came onto a game. He's not a 6. He's an attacking midfielder for me, because he grabbed the bull by the horns. He's got some lovely feet about him. He's got a good pass in him. He's a danger going forward. Why he thinks he's a 6, as in that central midfield that sits and dictates play. I think he's an attacking midfielder, and he showed that yesterday. I think he was the game changer for Rangers. Miovski played his part, yes, but I think for me, Raskin and his drive in the second half was the catalyst for Rangers to win that game.
They're scoring goals all over the park.
That's scary.
Now, the first half would be a worry. I get that, because when you go into the cup finals, as Danny Rule calls it, if you start that game thinking it's a cup final the way they did, you go, right, come on.
There's an attitude problem there.
But then the accusation that's been labelled at this Rangers team for months is they don't have the ball.
Well, he showed that yesterday.
5 goals in the second half.
He showed that yesterday.
And there was just that feeling at the end when they kept scoring, they kept celebrating. There was that sort of feeling, that buzz, and you just think that's a team that look ready to lift a title.
No disrespect to Falkirk here, but see if Rangers are losing 2-0 to Hearts at Tynecastle at half-time, or even 2-1, they're no winning that game.
I agree.
And it's the same against Celtic. It was Falkirk, and Falkirk, I think, just lost their way. I don't know why or how. I think the change in formation and shape caught Falkirk out, because I felt sorry for the back four, because they were just being overrun. The midfield were being overrun, and they had like Gassama down one side, they had Raskin running through, they had Chakwani running through as well. There was so much space for Rangers players, and Miovski was dropping in deep. They didn't know whether they were coming or going, and I felt sorry for that back four, because they've been solid all season, and to concede 6 was a huge blow.
The Derry being out, we don't know exactly the extent of it.
Is he out for the season?
I don't think it's been confirmed, but it doesn't.
The rumours
look
were
great.
Yeah.
The thing is, you don't, in a title race, you don't get away with 45-minute performance.
No,
you'll get caught out in the end. They have to be putting in an 80 or 90-minute performance. Because he can't be dropping points away to a team that aren't in the race.
No.
And the next time they go to Falkirk, it'll be the final game. Can you imagine, you as a Hearts fan are sitting in the final game, and you hear on the last day Rangers are 2-0 down after 25 minutes or whatever it was.
I'm already, the flags are out. We've got the bunting up right across Gorgie Road and all that. I do think on the basis of that second half performance that Rangers have given me a massive fear.
Are they the biggest challenger to Hearts?
I think for me right now, the way that they're creating chances and scoring goals, and they're scoring goals, as Ronnie say, from all over the place, that's huge going into these final 5 games. The game at Tynecastle is going to be something else. I mean, that is blockbuster. That's, for me, whoever wins that game wins the league. I genuinely believe it, because I think Celtic are out of it.
Do you think Celtic will be out of it by that final match day 13?
Yeah, I don't think they're in it. And we'll get to Celtic in just a second. I think we're in for a fascinating race.
Let's go through the small controversies first. The ball's not out. I think that the problem is the broadcasting side of things, and you'll know this, you're limited with the cameras in which you get to see and comment on. And much like when it was the Motherwell last week, when it was it was Motherwell TV's pitch side camera that's not a live feed anywhere. It's just their camera that they use for highlights afterwards. Shows it much like that. There's a fan's video.
I'll show you,
showing that they're on that byline. He's looking at, for those listening on all listening platforms.
In fairness, the ball disappears out of shot at the very high point.
Yeah, I know.
So that tells you nothing.
No. But what I would do is just watch Scott Bain.
Okay.
Just watch Scott Bain.
See, the thing with these are, remember there was one at the World Cup, then there was one at Easter Road.
The one at Easter Road.
Scott Bain just plays on.
Yeah, no, but Scott Bain, the way he's looking is right above his head.
Yeah.
You see what I mean by that?
Even when you get a camera that's right, that's a really good angle.
I know, it's mad, isn't it?
One that's right along the line, that's designed for that, and the ball might be on the line. The one in the World Cup with Japan, it was Maeda, wasn't it?
Yes. Maeda, yeah.
And you still couldn't tell because of the overhang.
Yeah.
So to be able to tell one that's 30 foot in the air,
for me, it's definitely
it's out of shot.
I think for me it is. Wait, are you saying that's out?
There it goes.
No, I think it's in.
You think it's in? I think there's no doubt about it that cross is in from Raskin, and the goal is a good goal.
Well, there's no way.
And what I will say is, just to add to that, is that Falkirk know it was in. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go.
So there's no way that the officials can overturn that.
Right. They don't.
Subtle as a brick through a window. I've got pals at Falkirk. That's what he said. He stays next door to Col Donaldson, folks. Do you know what I mean? Let's just say something's telling me that the Falkirk players thought it's in as well. Okay, we'll leave it there, you. Honestly,
there's no arguments. Put it that way.
Okay.
However,
handball.
Wait. However, what I will say on that is the ball is in, but they will always claim for it to be out.
Of course you will.
Like they always claim.
I was claiming for it. I was the bar in Amsterdam claiming for it.
Like a throw, when you know it's clearly not your throw, and they'll still claim for it. And when they've conceded a corner, they'll pretend that it's like a goal kick. It's in. John McGlynn knows it. The players know it. It's in. It's clearly in. And see, if it wasn't in, the Falkirk players, the Falkirk hierarchy would be saying otherwise.
Yeah, but they text you the opposite. Miovski handball. in the build-up.
There is chat. You know the one where he knees it in? There's chat that that the ball struck his arm. Again, bullshit.
Like that. And Magoma.
I'm going to ask you, did that hit his arm before he hits his knee?
When you brought it up beforehand of the talking points of the game, and I was going, which one does Miovski handball it?
It's his left arm as it hits his knee into the corner of the goal.
Yeah.
There's a few fruitcakes on X who think that it struck his arm and that there's a conspiracy for Rangers to win the league.
Is it?
And this was the evidence.
How did they know that? Did they also dress up as George Michael and do the video on the car? Did they? Yeah, they're the fruitcakes. And then we get to DOGSO again.
Which was huge.
Can I just say the worst phrase ever in Scottish football? And this season will be remembered for so many great things. DOGSO's not one of them.
I refuse
Please
to go there.
never say that on air.
It won't happen.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you.
So in all your commentaries, you'll refuse to say DOGSO.
It doesn't work for me.
Does it not? 'Cause
I would much rather take an extra second to say denying of a goal scoring
Do you know what that
opportunity.
is? Woke nonsense. That's what that is.
Because Crocker and some BBC boys are using DOGSO.
That's up to them.
But you think
it's not for me.
Is it not for you? Never. So what would you say in a situation like that?
I would just take the extra second or two to say denying of a goal scoring opportunity.
It doesn't take that much longer to say it. And also, some people genuinely don't know what DOGSO means.
No.
Denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity.
I've even heard them talk about it on sports scene as well. Let's talk about the DOGSO.
And I personally feel we've got ourselves in a really bad place over DOGSO.
Are we the DOGSO podcast?
And we're the DOGSO podcast now, aren't we?
Tell me why you think we've got ourselves into a tricky place with DOGSO.
Because see, at the beginning of the season, if you'd have told me that a player could potentially be sent off committing a foul 70, 80 yards away from goal, denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity 80 yards from goal. Do you know what?
See, when you say it like that, it's hilarious.
I would be like, very good. But now, because of what we've done before and what's happened now...
And where does it all start? It starts at Tynecastle with Trusty. That's where it starts.
Yeah, that was the first big
That
DOGSO.
was the first big one. And then you had the one at Pataudry.
Yeah, in the cup. With
The
Motherwell.
cup one with Motherwell.
Yeah.
Aye, that were you not doing that game?
No,
That was I think it was a BBC game, that one. No, but
that's right.
that was a BBC game. Because
it was on Premier. It was because it was cancelled the first time or postponed.
So
they and that was at a time I think I was either at Celtic Park or
because the waterlogged pitch.
Yeah.
That's why.
He was getting paid more money for the rugby that night.
So that one at Aberdeen, I mean, that was just inside the halfway line. Was that a sending off for you, Rory?
No.
And was the
that
one...
the Paul McGinn one?
Actually, I don't think any of them are.
You're only Trusty on Cabori. Tynecastle.
Is that the 2-each game?
No, it's the 2-each game.
Yeah.
He's closer to goal.
Yeah,
He's going in a diagonal run.
Actually, I think at the time I thought that one was.
Let's not get lost on... Let's get back to this one.
That's what I'm saying, but we're just explaining how DOGSO's come about to where we are.
So, Magoma's in his own half. And like inside these beyond
he's about 5 yards inside his. He's inside
are they in the centre circle?
Inside the Falkirk half, centre circle, 5 yards in, 10 yards in. It's about 70 yards away from goal.
Because of the decisions that have gone before it, that's what brings up the conversation. I just don't like that idea of someone can be potentially sent off for a foul because we're losing. I think we're losing the sight of what is obvious. There's the reason it's DOGSO, not DOGSO, is because there's another O there, and it's an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. Are you really that obvious if you're 80 yards to goal?
Well, I wonder where, because I think beforehand we would have maybe thought that the cut-off is maybe like 50 yards out from goal. I wonder how far it goes back. Like,
so
what if you're in your own box?
See if we go for a
and
corner,
there's somebody
right?
breaking.
Aye.
And the keepers, if Scott Baines and or let's say Jack Butland's in goal, Falkirk have flooded everyone our Rangers have flooded everyone forward for a corner. And as Rory says,
you get taken down on the 18-yard line off your penalty box.
But you're the furthest person up the pitch.
Aye.
Come on.
What I
don't know where the referees go with this.
But the referees have dug themselves a hole with this because now they're being criticised for that decision and not sending Magoma off.
I don't think that's a red card.
So there's 2 points to this that I want to raise. One, I don't think it is denying of a goal-scoring opportunity. In the
Obvious.
sense-
You need the word obvious in there.
Obvious. I don't think it is, and I'll tell you why. You've got Tavernier, who is on the right
Correct.
for Rangers. The left is Falkirk are looking at him. He's coming across. He's getting there, and he's already beyond the halfway line.
So it'll probably just be a penalty to Falkirk when he trips them over. If he'd have just played on, Tav would have gave away a
But
penalty anyway.
I think the key is not even Tavernier who's on the left and is coming across to get there. I think the biggest key in regards to that incident is Mikey Moore, who's probably one of the quickest players on the pitch. He's going to be there alongside Calvin Miller. And in fact, I think the ball is going to Mikey Moore and Calvin Miller ain't going to be in control of it. So for that reason, it's not a DOGSO. 100% it's not
There
a
we go.
DOGSO. But what I will ask, and I'm going to ask you, Rory, and I'm going to ask you this, Ronnie. The challenge itself is reckless. Was that in itself a red card?
Well, no, because this is
No,
where...
I'm
where
not-
the-
no,
I know,
I'm
but this...
it's
I know.
lie.
Yeah, no, but when you used the word reckless there,
You-
and
you-
this is...
Got my answer.
Thank you, Rory, because we're intelligent. Within the rules of the game, so reckless gets bandied about as if it's an adjective to describe a red card. If that's reckless. Reckless, by its definition, within IFAB, is a yellow card. So you've answered your own question. It's reckless, which means it should be yellow. If it's serious foul play or violent conduct, which there'll be examples of this weekend we will get to, that's a red card. So you've answered your own question.
I was asking the question.
I get that,
It,
and that's
was,
fair.
it wasn't an
That's
opinion.
fair.
Again, that
Aye.
was being talked about. So if it's not a DOGSO, is it a straight red card for a quote-unquote reckless challenge? I take it you're with Ronnie on that.
And it is because of the rules. For it to go beyond, so reckless is a yellow. For it to go beyond that, there has to be excessive force or speed or endangering the safety of an opponent, which I don't think that one.
So that didn't tick any of those boxes
No,
for you.
not for
and
me
that's
either.
the thing. When referees see these incidents, then they will go through it, and it is a box ticking exercise. Is he denying of an obvious goal scoring opportunity? Is there excessive force? And each time they only need to tick one box for it to upgrade.
Got ya.
And if it doesn't tick any of those, they can't do it.
And my next question then is this, so that we're all clear on it. I agree with you. I think the referees have backed themselves into a corner here with these DOGSO incidents. Is there any argument to be had that was a DOGSO yesterday at the Falkirk Stadium when Calvin Miller was brought down by Magoma?
I think you can make an argument for it, but for me,
Is that based on what happened at Aberdeen and what's happened in previous
and,
other
and,
games?
and last week, Mark Leonard, the week before,
Mark Leonard, yeah.
So
Which was
when you
pretty much in
collect
his own half
the
as well.
evidence, you need consistency.
So
with
if they're consistent, shouldn't Miller have been sent off? Sorry, shouldn't Magoma have been
Miller
sent
definitely
off?
shouldn't have been sent off.
Should,
He's a diver.
should Magoma have been sent off then? If you're saying they need to be consistent with these incidents,
I still don't think so.
I don't. And I also think, added to that,
I don't think Mark Leonard should have been either.
do you know?
No.
That's interesting because I thought he might have deserved a red card on that day. You
the
don't
ar-
think?
using the argument as well of a still image to portray what's going on there. There's so many different variables that happen when you see a motion shot of what's going on. When you see a still image, you don't get to see the pace of the ball, the pace of the player, what players are coming in what directions and stuff like that. So I think that's another bad point that we're in. When you freeze the image of where Magoma is, you don't see Tav.
No, you don't.
You don't see how fast Mikey Moore can be.
Yeah.
Which makes it for me not obvious in the slightest.
This is a much wider thing with me with VAR and allowing referees to see things again, which I think is something that football should have, but I think the way that it's used is too forensic. So what I would do with incidents like that is you get one go, one look at full speed, be it for an offside, be it for a handball, be it for a denying of a goal-scoring opportunity. A referee, what an absolute benefit that is to a ref who knows what's going to happen. You can see it one more time in full speed, so we don't get to put lines on it on an offside, because then you're getting to these what are supposedly factual decisions, which the players are out on the pitch. And if Cole was here, he would be saying, "Look, how can I judge that my back ankle or heel is playing his shoulder on. Like, it's impossible for them to look alongside and make these decisions.
Yeah.
As a commentator, has it made your job harder?
I think it's made it more interesting.
I may be putting words in your mouth here, but obviously I've listened to you a lot over the years doing your commentaries. You sound frustrated quite a lot.
Yeah.
With VAR, you do come across as someone like going, what is going on here? Why is it taking so long? Without saying it, but you can hear it in the tone of your voice. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're a football fan at heart
Yes,
first.
yeah. And I think it could be done so much better. I was one that originally wanted it because I've seen how it works in other sports. And I would rather get to the right decision. Mm-hmm. But I think the way that it is being used, I think there's almost a fear of getting the wrong decision. I think you're seeing that with the on-field referees, and then also the VAR referees are thinking, if there is the slightest possibility that there is something to give here, we have to give it because otherwise we're going to be called up for it.
I'm going to ask you something else I'm curious to know the answer to. So you're in the commentary box, you've got your headphones on, and you can hear from Crocs and others that they can hear the conversation that is going on with VAR and the referee who is looking at the monitor. And when you're talking, it sounds like you're going, they haven't got a clue what they're talking about.
You are trying to put words in my mouth there.
But as in you're confused as well with what they're seeing and what decision they might make.
So we only get one side of that conversation, which is different to the rugby.
You don't get both.
You don't get the referee?
No, you just get the VAR official.
Do you, right? So that's how you
that's
know
why
what's going on.
It can be confusing because you don't know what the referee on field is saying back.
And sometimes I think when I find that a little bit frustrating is they'll maybe be saying, oh, delay the game, we want to check something. And you're going, there's nobody on the field that's appealing for this.
Aye.
And therefore you're going looking for things just in case it gets no. And look, I feel for the referees. I think they're in such a difficult position. Everything that I'm asking them not to analyse it forensically, knowing that at half-time, our studio are going to analyse it forensically and pull them up.
We're
such a
going to do it Monday, and everyone's going to do it all week.
And just look at the weekend there, just for that Rangers game and with the Hearts game, which we'll get to, in the penalty that Hearts were awarded. Everything is looked at forensically by fans, and it's slowed down, it's clipped up, and it's like, this is alleged, that's alleged. You're in a no-win situation, aren't you?
So I think that's where, as fans, there's got to be a little bit of understanding that you either you get full-blown VAR and forensically analysed, or you go down the route that I'm talking about where you get another look, you might still make a mistake, that you accept a degree of human error. And because it's humans that are making the official
This season
decisions.
has made it worse because of the heightened toxicity and everything that comes with a 3-way title race with 5 games to go.
Yes.
Everyone has their flat earth conspiracy fear. Do you know what I mean? It's all this. Everything's
It's a conspiracy.
It is.
They're out to get us.
And if we look at if we move on to the Hearts game, for instance, where we discuss the penalty. So a good win for Hearts, we can all agree. Motherwell showed some good stuff.
Motherwell should be out of sight before Hearts get their penalty.
I mean,
Maswanisi.
1-0. Oh, he has 2, doesn't he?
Oh, he's 2, but but it would probably be one of the goals of the season.
His first touch.
His first touch.
You might as well. That boy might as well just get hit. Was it McEntee?
It was Halkett.
Was it Halkett?
It was Halkett. He was like that to Halkett. Away you go, mate.
I don't even know why Halkett started chasing him back.
No.
You're at the game there,
and then McEntee's trying to cut off the run, and he puts McEntee on his arse as well, and he's just got the goalkeeper to beat, and he puts it wide. It would have been a sensational goal.
The Maswanisi of 3 months ago.
Oh yes,
scores that. There's a conference thing I think now with Maswanisi.
Yeah, I agree.
But they score the goal. Your phone when Motherwell take the lead.
My phone exploded. Honestly, my phone exploded. It was red hot. The back of my phone was boiling hot.
I saw a clip afterwards of Dell taking, real offence to a journalist asking, sometimes do you need to...
I'm not so sure I'd call him a journalist. But.
Lucky than good. And I get Derek's point to an extent. I mean, sometimes you do need to ride your luck. Like, Maswanisi could easily have scored that. They could easily went 2-0 up, and Hearts can easily have lost that game.
But every team has moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to take those moments.
I get that, but I can get why that's also can be seen as a wee bit of luck. I don't think that was a disparaging comment. You have to ride your luck. Think about every title. You're going to win. All these close titles are going to go down to luck to some extent as well. But when we go to the penalty, I don't see an issue with that penalty at all. Kicked him in the head.
Okay, you both looked at me.
Well, you know he's...
yeah, well...
He couldn't get any more maroon if he tried to put makeup in his face.
So my take on that penalty is I think it has to be given because it's a player that's getting kicked in the head. On the side of what you're talking about is the slight fortune that favours Hearts, it has zero impact on that incident.
You're not telling me that's a wee bit of luck. Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot of, again, Rangers and Celtic fans online who have pulled up these IFAB rules of why it shouldn't be a penalty because you're not allowed to put your head into a position where it is endangering yourself and that you can be yellow carded for that and it could be an indirect free kick to the opposition team. And that rule is in place for a couple of reasons. Because there has been incidents in the past where the ball is on the ground, rolling on the ground, and there's players who are putting their head down there trying to scoop it away with their head on the ground. This is different. This ball is in the air. And now my argument to that would be, if that was someone going in for a diving header to score a goal at that height, would they get yellow carded for that? No, he's been pushed in the back by Welsh. He's fallen over and the ball falls onto his head. And yeah, he does a wee flick motion, but it's still there to be won. It's in the air. It's not on the ground. I think it's a penalty. I don't know if you agree with that assessment or not.
I think that's a fair assessment. He's not there in a voluntary situation. As you say, he's been bumped as he goes to try and control the ball, and therefore goes down.
And the ball's in the air. It's not actually flat on the pitch. And I agree with that. If the ball's flat on the pitch and there's a player trying to head it on the pitch. It's like
the old Marvin Andrews clearance.
Yeah, aye. And there's been a few of them over the years. I've seen a few in the English Premier League as well. I'm going to ask you, Ronnie, do you think it is a penalty?
Yeah.
Aye.
I mean, also, it's another case of if you substitute, I know we're getting into real minutiae and real, if you substitute his head for his leg and he kicks his leg and goes down, we saw that Liam Scales penalty at Pataudry. He kicks his leg.
Oh, yes.
And he goes down.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what part. I don't see why. If anything, it's his worse. It's his head.
I know.
But this is where I get to. You can't tell me that's no just a wee nice bit of luck going your way. It is.
It is.
But you need to take these things.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying to Derek, don't be upset that sometimes people say you're a wee bit lucky.
Now, I've been critical of VAR over the years and been critical of referees, but fair play to VAR on that occasion.
Charlatan.
Colin
for Willie's head and all that. But fair play to VAR, when they get it right at Tynecastle, they just get it right, don't
it's
they?
not just because it's at Tynecastle.
But no, you're right. But
if VAR's not there, Hearts probably don't win the game. Because they don't get a second chance to look at that. And
it was very late in the game, wasn't it? 80 odd minutes.
87th minute. If Hearts don't get that penalty and score from it, the likelihood is it finishes 1-1.
And then, by the
likelihood.
Kabori scores.
What? It must be Hearts' season now if Kabori's scoring goals.
I mean,
because he's been missing so many big chances.
You could tell as well on that Saturday night that was a big win.
Huge.
You were properly, your mettle was properly tested
100%
as title contenders.
Yeah,
because I think at that point, folk, when you were 1-0 down, would go, this is the bit, this is, remember the time, this is where they crumble, I had the bubble machine ready to go, and everything. Fair play. You got to stand up and get the balls to do it, and you did.
Callum messaged me when Motherwell went 1-0 up, and he said your goose is cooked, you're done. But it wasn't just Callum, I kid you not, everybody,
I'll also say at this point, Dundee United were getting pumped by bottom of the table Livy, so I did have to put him back in his place as well. I always say, right, people in glass houses, big man. Do you know what I mean?
But it wasn't just Dundee United fans or Celtic and Rangers fans, it was fans from across the board who were sending me messages on X, or friends of mine who were sending me messages on WhatsApp, and I believed it. I thought, the way that Hearts have been playing recently, and we haven't been scoring many goals, I thought if we got in us to get 2 goals back against a really good Motherwell side, when we've been scraping 1-0s here, there and everywhere, but to come back and win that 3-1, I think that's huge, Rory. I think it's huge.
Massive, and it's probably where You talk about the lack of influence when somebody like Shankland isn't there. If you need somebody to step up in the 87th minute and tuck a penalty away.
What a penalty.
Yeah. And,
Right in the corner.
Wee bit of luck about the post now. I could hit the other side of the post and go miles away and it's 1 each. But anyway, no, I'm not saying that at all. But for Motherwell though, talk about running out of steam towards the end of the season.
What happened?
There's no wins in the last 5. Ask you.
What's that all about?
Not great for them.
Can I ask you, because I know you're very close to what's going on in the world of the managerial roundabout and all that. Is the recent form of Motherwell going to put Celtic off?
We spoke about this last week.
I'm asking
I got
you
a
now.
very interesting WhatsApp after that to say no.
Off the back of our conversation last
week, I put forward the idea of, if Motherwell finish 5th, can Celtic really hire a manager from a team who finished 5th in the league? And the reply I got was, yes, they can.
Rory?
From someone in the know.
Do you think he's Celtic material?
Well, he's not been at a club that is as big as Celtic. So essentially we don't know, and that would be the risk that Celtic are taking. But I very much see the attraction to him. If there is behind the scenes, I don't know.
No, there is. He's very popular within the corridors of power of Celtic Park, no question. But there is a big list.
Everything that I've heard from within Fir Park about him is so positive.
Yeah.
And very, very impressive.
So we're talking about his character, his personality, the way that he coaches the team. He's ticking all those boxes. Yeah.
From the characteristic of unifying a club, not just on the pitch, which Celtic need more than any club right now. And with the media, he's great. Like, I think he's a very, very good coach. But Wilfred Nancy wasn't tested to the level of Celtic Park.
Yes.
And that could
crumbled.
be the problem.
Yeah,
is because
completely.
because I still think that Jens Bertolauskas would, in a sense, be more of a risk because he's not been at that level. So do then the Celtic hierarchy think, we need to go with a more established name?
We were talking about Martinez, but it was pointed out to us, Martinez is also at the World Cup.
And he could be there till the end of the World Cup.
So Celtic need a manager now. Like, it's as soon as that final whistle goes in the Scottish Cup final, if indeed they make it, they need a manager in there to sort out. Because if we get to Celtic, a 1-0 win over St Mirren, a laboured 1-0 win over St Mirren, it was still a win, and this is where they're still in contention, and they're still in conversations. But like you were saying earlier, when you don't have that threat or that natural goal scoring ability to go and score the 5 goals you need to do in the second half to win you the game, Martin O'Neill afterwards was almost disheartened. He was downbeat.
He was.
The energy drop off wasn't great. We're not scoring enough goals.
Not getting enough chances.
Doesn't get the feeling that it's a team ready to go and win the next 5 games, I think.
Last week I made Celtic favourites because they had 4 home games out of 6. But after watching that performance on Saturday, I'm going to take that back and say Rangers are favourites. I keep changing week to week, week to week, week to week.
We all do.
And within game, it's not week to week, it's 45 minutes to 45 minutes. Half time at Falkirk, Rangers were done.
They were done. I know. It's like that. But what is it about? I mean, you've seen a lot of Celtic as well because you've commentated on them. What is the problem there?
I don't think that there's any player there that is, or maybe you might be able to say Nygren because his output in goals is excellent, but there aren't enough players that are playing to or above their ability. You know, you would say probably Maeda's a little bit down.
He's dropped
off massively.
Certainly from last season, he's a long way down. Key players, Hatati's not what he can be, but they are the group of players that have got over the line before, and that is a very helpful position to be in because I think Tavernier's the only one in the Rangers squad that's won a title.
Yeah.
Hearts clearly haven't won a title.
No.
So these Celtic players do know how to get the job done.
Yeah, and they've got experienced heads in there.
Yeah.
Oxlade-Chamberlain's goal's a good goal. Mm-hmm. He scored a couple of good goals for them now. 2
But
winning goals as well. He's got him 6 points.
When we were chatting about this last week, you can tell when he's able to score a goal from that kind of position, it's not a lung-busting run that he's going to beat 3 players, but there's a touch and a finesse about him where he can score a goal in that position. Hence why he started the last couple of games, because Martin O'Neill knows we will get into those positions.
Yes.
But we won't have the finesse of an Oxlade-Chamberlain in which to score. So fair play to him for scoring it. I just don't see where they score enough goals. They don't have a goal. They don't have a goal-scoring striker.
Big
that's
Tam.
fit.
You're not paying $9 million for him, are you? Big
No
Tam.
chance.
No.
He's just. But then he came in and lit it up at Tynecastle. So there's it's a confidence thing because obviously he showed a bit of something, but he showed nothing since.
No, he hasn't. I think that Celtic are third favourites for the league now, and that's me change my mind again. And as you say, it can change from 45 minutes to 45 minutes, but it's that close a title race that nobody really has stood out. Rangers have stood out in recent weeks because they're scoring goals, but they also look quite cagey defensively as well. It's anyone's league. Whoever wants it is going to get it. If they can grab the league by the scruff of the neck, they're going to win it. I agree with Rory. I think Celtic are still very much in this because they've been there, done it, got the T-shirt.
And they have a slender of a home advantage in certain in the important matches.
But that performance at the weekend would worry me as a Celtic fan. Did it worry you?
Absolutely.
Aye.
And I think any right-minded Celtic fan will admit at this point they are in the third place for a reason.
You can't drink kefir without shaking it.
Right.
I need a drink.
You could have done that in the break, but anyway.
Oh, we're going to break next,
we are,
aren't we?
but it's
Sorry.
fine. No, it's fine. Honestly, it's like a child. Celtic fans have got to be worried. They have to be because we knew in January they had to sign a striker. I mean,
Well, they did.
did they? Did they though, Rory? I ask you. The January recruitment is coming. The chickens are coming home to roost. They can't score enough goals.
And
Mvuka.
Who?
Yeah.
Adamu.
Who? Exactly.
Arojo.
Who?
He
was
I think
good.
Arojo's-
Oh,
I think he's a
I
good
know,
player.
but he's
Yeah.
out. He's
He's
you
gone.
can't your hat of your January transfer window can't hang on a right back that's now injured and can't play for the run-in. He's saved Jimmy
Yeah.
They're in bother.
What I would say is Celtic got the win. That's all that matters. At this stage of the season,
5
just getting
games
the
to
win.
go.
You need to win. They got the win. They weren't great. They were poor on the day. Fair play to St Mirren. That boy's done a good job.
Do you know they're very well coached? And
Aye.
I think there was times in that Celtic game where Celtic were out-coached
Aye.
by St Mirren and
Correct.
Craig McLeish.
I'm going to ask you both then. Is he getting a job full-time in the summer?
I think he's not. I don't think he's going to win next week. I don't think they're going to get to the Scottish Cup final. I think Celtic have enough at Hampden to see past them. Just though, I'll say.
Have you seen enough though for him to get the job full-time?
So my point was going to be after that, all he has to do is keep them safe, which I think they will, and then they'll go right. Do you know what? I think, and you've shown against Celtic and against Rangers, they've both had to scrape 1-0 wins off you. You've shown against teams in and around you. You can win big games against the likes of Aberdeen. I think he's shown enough.
Rory?
Well, imagine he does beat Celtic and get to the Scottish Cup final, and
Then you can
then they play
you can do a
Falkirk
Peter
or
Law and
Dunfermline.
give him the Jobna shivers. That's I'm telling you right now.
The interim appointment with a few months to go in the season, I always think's a really difficult one because we've seen them make. Aberdeen did it with Barry Robson.
That's right.
When clearly that's because you only give them the interim job, so they're clearly not your first choice for the job, and then they almost feel like, oh, he did quite well. We kind of have to give it to him now.
Then never works out.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
That's not to hold that against.
No, of course.
But you're
You're
right.
right.
But
No,
that's
absolutely.
9 times out of 10, that's how it happens. You get the job and it doesn't quite work out the way you hoped it would, and it happens more often than not.
Wonder if Martin O'Neill will do enough to convince the Celtic board to give him a
Like Martin.
full-time job.
Nah, he won't want the job full-time next season, will he?
This-
Will he?
Not a chance.
You can't put that man under that level of stress for a period of time.
Could he be the buffer, though? Could he be up the stairs as a buffer with a new manager?
I think you just need to clear the decks and start again.
Do you
That
think
club
it needs freshness?
Of course it does. Martin O'Neill's with the greatest will in the world and will go down as probably the second greatest Celtic manager in history. He is the buffer right now. Because
Win or lose the league this year, he's still the second best manager.
100%.
You wouldn't hold that
question.
against him?
No chance. He's got 2 hands tied behind his back, never mind one. God love him. So Celtic St Mirren on Sunday in the Scottish Cup semi. I'm going to go Celtic.
Celtic.
No, I can't.
Oh, of course,
I
he's
can't do
commentating
that.
on it. I forgot. It's actually, you can see both those games live on Premier Sports,
There
ladies and
you go.
gentlemen, with Rory Hamilton as league
It'll
commentator.
be a Celtic Falkirk Cup final.
Well, you say that, but Dunfermline are showing
Nah.
a very strong end to the season.
Nah. Put your mortgage on it.
Okay.
Put your mortgage on
Thank
it.
you.
Dunfermline were brilliant against Aberdeen.
Oh, they were
and Hibs.
superb. And
Yeah.
Hibs.
As we said, the greatest stat from Chris last weekend is they've won more games against Premiership teams than Livingston has.
Aye. Can you answer this question? Who's winning the league?
Well, see, the good thing is Premier Sports,
Aye.
they've now got bottom 6 games.
So you
Not
can't
top
now
six.
tell
You can't
us.
say who's going to be relegated, but you can tell you who's going to win the league.
Who, in your opinion, with 5 games to go, is going to win the league? Or tell you what, give us your top 3.
I feel like I can answer the question because from my professional position. The reason it becomes difficult is because it's such a difficult question to
It
answer.
is.
I don't
I
think
agree.
anyone knows you, and that's the problem.
I agree. I can't even predict it now. I
Who are you
can't.
asking him for then if you can't?
And I could make a case for and against all 3.
Yes.
So I think that Hearts are probably the best team of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can't sort out their away form, they're not going to win it.
Great point.
It may help that their hardest away game is the last one. Mm-hmm. And it may help in the sense that if Celtic are out of it by then it maybe becomes a slightly easier away game.
See if Celtic are out of it by then, and you need Hearts to win the league, I'll be playing in goals. I could give you a Celtic starting 11 that included the likes of Susan Boyle and all that, and I'm telling you, Ross Stewart will be playing at centre half.
But
Martin
then,
O'Neill will be playing.
but then Hibs will have that
course they will.
similar attitude.
You
Yeah, they will.
You imagine you are the Hibs manager that wins the game in the derby that stops Hearts winning the league. You can't even. What can you do apart from Knights or David Gray?
So say that Hearts were to beat Hibs, but what do Hibs do when they're playing Celtic and Rangers? Do they help Hearts win the league?
That's why it's so fascinating.
It's
But
fascinating. isn't it?
they're also fighting for their own.
Chance to get to Europe.
Europe and all that, yeah. There's so much to play. I think you've made a really good point there, and I would also throw this in about Hearts. Hearts' best performances have come against the best teams in the league in that top 6. So
The Hearts don't like playing against the low blocks and the
No,
lower
they don't.
league.
No.
You've seen that the 3
No.
away games. You
No.
can't. You couldn't beat Kelly,
No.
Livy, or St Mirren.
No, found it
You need a team
difficult.
to have a go at you.
and that's what Rangers and Celtic will do. And as Motherwell did at the weekend.
So we've got a break from the title race next week at the Scottish Cup. Rangers are away to Spain for 5 days. Are Hearts away?
Hearts are going for some warm weather training. I'm not quite sure where they're going, but they're heading off away
And it's
as well.
Celtic in the Scottish Cup semi-final against St Mirren. A fantastic
Weekend
5
ahead.
weeks to go.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to cope, but we will, and we'll be back right after the break for the rest of the Scottish football weekend. The STV Radio Football Show is brought to you by CR Smith. CR Smith windows and doors have been going for over 50 years. That's an incredible amount of experience. They offer great finance rates so you can get the best product for your home at an affordable rate. CR Smith have over 150 iconic vans across the country. Find the back of the net and head to crsmith.co.uk to get the highest quality windows and doors with the most flexible ways to buy. Now it's time for the STV Radio Football Show.
The STV Radio Football Show, brought to you by CR Smith.
Thank you again to our partners in crime, CR Smith, not partners in crime, because you don't want to smash windies, do you? You know what I mean? Sorry.
Kick it indoors.
Kick them indoors and smash the windies. CR Smith, folks, number 1 in Scotland.
And if you do break a windy, CR Smith is the place to go.
Because they'll replace it
They'll replace
with a 10-year
it.
warranty. I'll tell you what, see if I don't get
A
free
10-year warranty?
If I don't get windies out of this, then we're in trouble.
10-year warranty.
Well, I hope it is that, because you've said it 3 times really loudly. See if there's a woman in the house with 9 years to go going, oh, it's a bit creaky up there. Not that it would be creaky, because the CR Smith windows are brilliant. Anyway, Aberdeen 2, Hibs 0. Big win for Stephen Robinson's men.
Needed that.
Big, and again, it just flips that bottom 6, where last week it was we were condemning Aberdeen to the playoff spots. Now they go above Dundee.
It's
The
nuts.
bottom of the table is just as nuts as the top half of the table, but we're just not focusing enough on it, because any of these teams now could be in that playoff spot.
Yes.
But a big win for Aberdeen.
Stephen Robinson needed that, Rory.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a manager that's under pressure. He needed a victory, and it's a big one for him as well. He can now concentrate on the teams in and around him, and then he can look forward to the new season if they don't fall into that playoff relegation spot. What did you make of the appointment of Stephen Robinson? Was that? I mean, we've discussed on here. We think it was a bit of a panicked appointment because he was clearly way down their list of managerial candidates.
We were getting comments on this. It's not to say that it wasn't merited. Stephen Robinson
100%
very much deserves a chance at this job.
We've always said that.
But it was the circumstance in which he has been given the job,
yes,
which has put one hand behind his back, I think.
So we did, I mentioned it before, the game at Dunfermline when Aberdeen limped out of the Scottish Cup as defending champions, and they were so poor.
You were there
night.
that day,
yeah, we did that game, and
was it even worse in the flesh than it was on the telly? Aye.
Oh, they were so far short. As great as Dunfermline were,
of course they were. Aye,
Aberdeen were awful, and you could see their fans. They brought them, as they always do, massive following. They filled half of East End Park.
It was genuinely they took half.
It was incredible, and really they showed nothing. And I think at that moment, rightfully, they said we have to make a change now. And if maybe we've got other targets, if they can't give us an answer that is, no, I'll be in the Granite City on Monday morning, then we need to go for somebody. And the standout name in Scotland is Stephen Robinson. What he did at Motherwell and has continued at St Mirren, the record is excellent, and he will always defend the style of football. And
absolutely,
I know Stephen well. It's very, very effective, and it will be certainly a lot better than how it is advertised as well. So so he's maybe been unfortunate in that sense that maybe got that reputation as a manager, and he isn't necessarily, but he's found a way to get more out of squads than what they should be capable of. So therefore, that you then put him in a squad and a budget at Aberdeen, that allows him to develop as a manager as well.
So do you think, get the season out of the way, he gets the summer, he gets the pre-season, do you think he'll eventually he'll be a good manager for Aberdeen? Do you think he will be?
I think they'll be a top 6 club the next season.
Right, okay.
In the Championship, or I jest, but it was that. Listen,
but does that mean that Hearts have to be bottom 6 next season?
See,
because you never get Aberdeen and Hearts are never good.
They're never good at the same time.
No, the thing. Let's not forget though. Aberdeen desperately needed to win. They got the win, but it was helped in part with the Hanley sending off.
Yeah, which is I think unfortunate for Grant Hanley, but as a red card. Do you agree? Or you just go because we've agreed this whole show. This is the one that you're just going to not agree because you.
No, I felt sorry for Grant Hanley.
So do I. I think it was very unfortunate.
And I thought there was a fullback on his left that was also there, and I'm not even sure the player's getting the box. I think the goalkeeper.
That was an Aberdeen player next to him. There was 2 Aberdeen players next to Grant Hanley.
No, there was one. There was a Hibs player on his left as well. There was. But what I'm saying is I'm not even sure if the players are getting the ball, because I think the goalkeeper's coming to scoop it up anyway. Listen, it's a red card by the letter of the law.
We got their names.
No. Again, as we discucued earlier about the DOGSO thing.
Is the DOGSO alert? We're going to get a DOGSO bell every time we ring it. Right.
Is it ruining the game? I don't know. Are we being?
I think that's a more clear cut one than any other one.
I'd agree with you, but. Is it a red card? Is it a straight red card when you look at the bigger picture of the situation? Is the player in question that's running with Hanley, is he getting the ball? Does that not come into the question?
The double jeopardy thing. You talk about a rule change potentially for the double jeopardy.
But if the ball's got away from you and the goalkeeper's going to get the ball, is that still a red card?
I would like the double jeopardy rule changed. I think regardless, I think a penalty and a yellow card suffice. A penalty and a red card kills the game. For me, it's not going to happen, I don't think. But
can a referee, can we not change a rule where the referee looks at an incident and goes, look, he's not getting the ball. Yes, he's been brought down, but he's not going to be getting the ball because the goalkeeper's going to get there before him, or the defender's going to get there before him.
No, because as Rory mentioned earlier with the red card offence, it's a box-ticking exercise.
But can they not change that? Because I think the Hibs goalkeeper's getting the ball.
But then how much has the striker been impeded, that it's slowed him down, that therefore the goalie can get there first?
I mean,
all
that's
these
a good
things
point.
are...
Grant Handler was all over him for a while.
Do you know what? That's a good point. The contact between the striker and Hanley was there for a good few seconds before the keeper gets the ball. Yeah, you're right.
But
Listen, it's a red card.
It wasn't the first time David Dickinson was sent to the monitor.
No.
Because
This is a shocker. I'm sorry.
That's the Giamfi one.
Chianfe on the back of Elding.
That's a red card. That's violent conduct.
I think that ticks the box of violent conduct for
That's
me.
violent conduct.
Well, remember the one that Trusty was sent off for
That
swinging at the
side
arm?
down and Dundee.
Jimmy
Hibs.
McGrath.
Yeah.
This is the back of a head.
Not a forearm, the back of a head.
Oh, aye.
I think that's a red card all day
And
long.
it's violent conduct. The referee went to see it again.
But VAR clearly thought it was.
Fair play. My issue is
Why
what I'm
did
trying to get
Dickinson
at-
look at that and think that was just a yellow card?
I think
That's nuts.
It would have been better for David Dickinson, obviously, if VAR hadn't given it. But to allow him to go to the screen and see that convincing again and still only think it's reckless rather than violent conduct, I think Hibs have a real case to answer for there.
I do admire when the referees are asked to go to the monitor because VAR think that they've missed something, and then they look at it and they go, "No, do you know what? I think I saw it right first of all." But on this occasion,
He got it wrong.
I think he's got that one right.
I was watching Sports Scene. Stephen Naismith and Stephen Thompson thought it was the right decision. A yellow card. I screamed at my telly.
I mean, they're allowed to make that.
Well, they're allowed to have
assessment.
an opinion, but I was shocked that they thought it was just a yellow card. It's clearly a strike on the back of the head. That's a red card.
Maybe a
And
wee bit of luck that Stephen Robinson needed just to get the
probably.
ball rolling.
And the other thing as well, though, it's only 1-0 at that time.
Yeah.
That again then changes the game, and it might be a different outcome. So as you say, better luck that Stephen Robinson's probably not had in the last couple of weeks. He gets that wee bit of luck, and they go on and win the game, which is a huge win for them.
And they go above Dundee on goal difference after their 2-2 draw with Kilmarnock.
Yeah. And unfortunately for Hearts, Hanley is going to be missing in a couple of weeks' time.
Very good. Very good.
Kilmarnock.
Kilmarnock 2, Dundee 2.
What a game.
Fair play. And do you know what I'm
Good
going to
game.
love about this bottom six is because the teams are all so similar, the way to win the game is just go and have a go.
And
And
they
you're
did.
going to have so many of that in the bottom six. You're going to have teams going to win games rather than try not to lose games. And I think you applaud Stephen Presley and you applaud Neil McCann for that. I think we get to an unfortunate VAR incident that took 8 minutes to get the off. I mean, I don't think it's a penalty in the first place.
It's not a penalty. And he's offside. How it took them 8 minutes with the naked eye to see that he was offside.
This is where I love the idea of Rory Hamilton's, where you knew you couldn't calibrate the lines. It didn't take you 8 minutes. It takes you a minute to get him over to the screen, look at it again. You're the on-field referee. You decide, is that offside or on? Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
I think justice was served in the end because I don't think that was a penalty. So I'm glad it was saved because I think we got to the right outcome of it not being a goal.
It's a huge controversial moment if that goal goes in because it could mean so much at the end of the day in regards to relegation playoffs and finances, etc. So I'm delighted that the boys saved it.
It's a brilliant save
It's
as
a
well.
great save.
It's
Caleb
proper
Roos.
because it's a good penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair play to
Right
Roos.
down in the corner.
But
So
8 minutes.
Can I ask you put your commentator hat on for a minute? When you're in that position and you have to fill time for 8 minutes and you you'll be able to hear what's going on, but it's hard, I suppose, when you're not hearing the other side of it to let us know because the fan experience is where that really brings the game down.
Yes.
A fan sitting there for 8
Oh,
minutes not
yeah.
knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From your point of view, is it tough?
We don't. They don't actually have much communication. Because obviously the VAR team are working, so they might say, "Oh, look, just give us another minute. We're still looking." So there's not like an ongoing commentary between the officials to make sure that they get that right. You know, they're working on it.
Yeah.
So it is pretty much us filling.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's tough.
lucky I sit beside guys who
You're also very good yourself, pal. Let's not do it.
who will speak and speak and speak and are opinionated.
I feel your pain, pal.
That's what it needs. as much as commentators and co-commentators and presenters and reporters get stick, if you put in guys that don't want to speak or don't want to give an opinion, it's
Filling,
it's an awful lot worse.
filling is the hardest thing
Aye.
to do. I
But-
remember we were in Washington for the World Cup draw, and STV News was on at 6 o'clock, obviously. But because Donald Trump got a peace prize, the draw actually went on and on and on. So we didn't actually get Scotland out the hat. And I was live inside the Kennedy Centre, and the producer of me says, "Right, you just need to talk for 4 minutes. The draw's not started yet." see when you were asked to do that. So see when like you're at a game.
That 4 minutes is the longest 4 minutes in your life.
I had a longer one.
Go on.
It was a pre-season friendly between Celtic and Eibar in Spain, and Premiers. It was just me, and I was in Dublin. I clearly hadn't been sent on the flight to Spain, which I would have loved to do. And they got the kickoff time wrong. So I was supposed to come on 5 minutes before, so just the teams walking out. We came on 20 minutes before, and I think it might have even been that it hadn't been communicated to the broadcaster that they were doing some celebration of maybe their centenary or 50 years or whatever it was. And there was all sorts of like local dignitaries and all this kind of club legends. I'm going, and thankfully, the night before, when I got over to Dublin, I stuck on a documentary about Eibar and watched that, and I so had all this information that filled the 20 minutes. That's why he's the best in the business.
That's why he's the best in the business.
So you sat for 20 minutes talking about Eibar.
Fair play to you. I mean, he's done worse in hotel rooms the night before games.
Yeah, I have.
Wow. So 8 minutes. It's not good. It's not a good look for the game. It's not a good look for the officials.
No. But
and it ruins the fan experience.
But ultimately, we're all happy the keeper made the save because it was never a penalty in the first place.
And it sets it up lovely for the bottom six. When you look at it, so Kelly 28 points, St Mirren 30, Dundee, Dons 33. It's going to go all the way to the wire.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Livy, they were in a chance. I thought we were going to get a Livy win since the second game of the season.
2-1 up. Turned it around. They're 1-0 down. Come out in the second half and they're 2-1 up within 10 minutes.
I've got to feel for Marvin Bartley. I would like to see Marvin get the job.
He's going to get it.
Yeah.
I hope he is, because I think he's been given the job under difficult circumstances. I hope.
But they've been better since he come in.
Yeah, they've been better coached, I think.
Aye.
And you can sense that Marvin has an idea of what he wants to happen.
I mean, I don't like him at the moment after drawing 2-2 with Hearts, because I thought they were actually very good on the day.
You
Livingston.
imagine losing that league by 1 point.
Can you imagine if it's that? Can you imagine that's the game you look back at?
I can easily imagine that.
That's how many points dropped to the bottom three?
Well, we lost to St Mirren.
Costly.
We lost to Kilmarnock. We've drawn to with Livingston. Shocking.
Marvin Bartley had drinking last time.
Don't invite him back.
You can come back anytime. Right, so that's what we've got through the Premiership. Hearts, top of the table, 70 points. Rangers, 69. Celtic, 67. We are in for a big one. Go on.
Final question on the league title race. How many points are going to win the league?
5 games to go.
What are the leaders at? 70?
I think 80 gets you a win.
Yeah.
80 gets you the title.
Yeah.
3 more wins.
Because there's potential for that top 6 to be an absolute bloodbath. Nobody's winning 5 out of 5.
No chance.
No.
None of the teams are good enough to do that. If it was, years gone by and a Brendan Rodgers Celtic steamrollering everyone, then yes, you go 15 points. That'll do. I think given that Hearts are leading the way, 3 wins and a draw wins the title.
I said today.
I think it'll be less than that.
I said today.
Just 79 maybe.
Yeah.
I said today that if we beat Hibs when we return back from the Scottish Cup semi-final,
You're not in the Scottish Cup semi-final.
No, not but when Scottish football returns. Yeah. If we beat Hibs and we don't lose to Rangers, and then we beat Motherwell and Falkirk, we win the league.
There we go.
Do you know what I mean by that? I think that game is key now. We have to beat Hibs, but as long as we don't lose to Rangers, because then Rangers play Celtic on the Sunday, the day after Hearts play away to Motherwell.
Yeah. So that's second last game of the season. So,
Aye.
Yeah.
So next
Sorry,
week,
third last game of the season.
Third,
Because we've got Falkirk at home on the Wednesday night. So if we can get 4 points from Hibs and Rangers minimum, and then we were to beat
That's
Motherwell and
such a
Falkirk.
tough ask, though.
I know it's tough, but Hearts win the league then.
That's what you need to do to
win the league.
to win the title.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So let's go through the rest of the leagues then. So that's the Premiership sorted, and the Championship. A very impressive win for Partick Thistle at home to a rampant Dunfermline, but 4-0 win for St Johnstone. They just keep that 5 point gap.
They're winning the league.
I think St Johnstone now have buried it.
The good news for Partick Thistle is it's all about momentum now going into the playoffs. So they need to keep that momentum going. They need to keep winning and scoring goals, and they've been doing that. They're going to be a real threat in the playoffs. And if they were to get to the playoff final, they'll be a threat to whoever's 11th in the Scottish Premiership.
The bottom of the table, however, is a lot more interesting with just 3 games to go. Ross County, another defeat, 1-0 away to Queen's Park.
They're calling for his head.
Can you blame them?
They're calling for his head.
Stuart Kettlewell's head, can you blame them?
Do you think they're going down?
Yes.
Do you think they're going down?
Really hope not. I worked up at Ross County during COVID. It was the first phone call that I got once things started opening up was from Roy McGregor.
He's a wonderful man.
And I really like that club. You spend your whole career not nailing your colours to one mast. I didn't grow up a Ross County fan.
You got a fondness for them.
They're a team that I do look out for their results. I think that they're such a welcoming group of people up there.
And you think it was 10 years ago that they won the League Cup. And you think where they are now, 10 years apart. It's incredible. And
with the money that he spent, the fact they could be in League One next year is like scary.
I mean, they were people's tips to go straight back up.
They were.
You know what I mean? It was
between them and St Johnstone for a lot of people to win the league.
Absolutely fair. Yeah. St Johnstone are there. Ross County are not. So there's 2 points in it with 3 games to go.
They could go play off with Inverness.
Good. That would be something else, eh? I never even thought of that.
I tell you. So League One.
Yeah, because Stenhousemuir and Inverness drew 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, 2 points is the gap between Stenhousemuir and Inverness, and it's Inverness have a game in hand because they were in the Challenge Cup final.
Stenhousemuir needed to win that game on Saturday night at 5:30. They had to win it, and they've drawn 1-1. I think they've got a late equaliser, Stenhousemuir, as well. But I think their chance to win the league is gone.
Bottom of the table's huge as well because another club who don't have their troubles to seek, Hamilton, only 2 points. You would think a nice 1-0 win over Alloway, that we're back to winning ways.
Yeah.
Kelty also go beat Montrose, so 2 points in it as well. And then they get to the League 2 one. This title race in League 2.
I know.
We've nailed our colours to East Kilbride's mast.
Right.
Callum
has the Spartans winning. Both of them get beat.
The Spartans are at home. What a chance.
To Stranraer. You hear that Forfar are beating East Kilbride. You think that's the chance.
Yeah.
No.
They lose 2-1. Nobody wants to win the league.
Mad. And
League
it's
2.
How many games to go?
Three. 1 point in it. 3 games to go. Up and down the leagues.
Every league
has relegation battles. And I think only the Championship, I think we can all agree that...
St Johnstone have got it.
But even like when you look at Edinburgh City, they're kind of... You've got that playoff even at the bottom of League 2 with the Highland and Lowland leagues. There's so much to play for with 3 games to go. Going to be incredible. Rory Hamilton, your team of the week.
We always do team of the week.
Is your team of the week?
I'm going to go, seeing as the man that I'm sitting next to, is Hearts.
There's a big one.
Yeah, crawling bastard.
I think that's huge.
We've not had to beep anything yet.
You don't need to beep that.
That's all right then.
Right.
Yeah, so you need to beep that.
We were
Sorry,
doing
Chief.
so well.
Sorry, Chief.
Oh, the Chief.
1 minute 44, sorry. Team of the week.
Team of the week, I am going to go with... I'm going to go with Rangers for that second half performance.
Mm-hmm.
That was scarily good and also bad for Hearts, but you can't ignore Rangers scoring 5 goals in the second half against a team that is difficult to score against. So I'm going to go with Rangers.
I was tempted by Aberdeen.
I'm going to go Aberdeen. Yeah, I think Stephen Robinson. I'm going to go Aberdeen.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's because not even that they deserved a win, maybe or not. They had circumstances go their way, but what that did for them, for the Stephen Robinson and the fans and everything, there's the big one. So there's your team of the week. That's your football sorted. Before we go, though, we have the Rory Hamilton question and answer, the quick fire round where fans,
go on.
The fans have voted what they want. We've got 6 or 7 questions for you. We want you to be brutally honest. Don't worry, it's just us. It's not going anywhere. You don't need to tell Andy.
I don't know if I'm good at quick fire.
We can take our time. So this comes from Lynn in Johnston. First question we have for you, Rory, is what's the best game you've ever commented on?
I think probably I can name a few, but
okay, you can get a couple. You can get a couple.
The way it goes. There was a Rangers Hibs 5-5 at the end of the season.
Oh yeah,
Neil Lennon doing the aeroplane down the touchline. That was brilliant. Cup semi-final 2 seasons ago was the Aberdeen Celtic. They went to penalties.
Oh wow, what a game that was!
Incredible.
Yeah.
I think probably my favourite was Scotland beating Spain. thought we were so.
The 2-0 game.
Yeah, I think
I
we were
loved when
so good.
The McTominay goal.
Yeah.
I was very. I applauded your commentary on the McTominay goal. I liked that a lot.
I think if the Euros had been that summer, because we went
With that big break,
we played Georgia and we played Norway, and after that I think we beat whoever was bottom of the table. I can't remember who it was, and then after that we couldn't win a game for 9 months. I think if the Euros had been that summer,
we'd have got the group.
Oh, I think we'd have won a knockout game.
Rory, I feel the same about now though. I think if the World Cup was right after Denmark, we've got a chance. However, these two friendlies and the two friendlies to come, I worry.
Yeah.
Staggers things. From Peter and Govan, not the best game, but your favourite commentary line that you've came up with
A moment.
in a game.
Oh, it's not even like classic commentary, but my favourite moment of commentating was in Oslo and Kenny McLean's.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's a great... Yes, I remember that.
You can hear the Scotland fan in him.
Yes,
Like
you can.
the Scotland fan Michael Stewart was also next to me, and he's like wrestling the microphone, screaming, and I'm trying to keep my head on it.
Yeah.
And
That must be... How can you do that?
You've just got to let yourself, because I travelled home and away with Scotland and been to Norway when they've lost 4-0.
Oh, with George Burley in charge.
And there've been some awful games, but that was so special. And I think you have to just, at certain moments and in certain games, you just have to let yourself go and let that moment be what it is.
Yeah.
Because you look to your left and the players are going crazy. You look to the dugout and the subs and the coaching staff are going nuts. And then you look to the away end and you're like, oh, I would love to be in there.
Yeah. Ollie from Aberdeen, the best pundit, the best co-commentator to work with.
I think that's a particularly difficult one
Absolutely.
to answer. They're all they're all great. I know that's such a cop out answer, but
No, but I'll answer it for you. He becomes the co-commentator when Michael Stewart is on. Michael Stewart becomes the commentator, and he then co-commentates for Michael Stewart.
I argue my favourite moments from yourselves, and indeed it is when you get that glimpse of they're not just co-commentators, but they're humans and they're fans. And my favourite bits of you is with Michael Stewart. I think that's incredible.
well, I get on really well with Michael.
That
I'll
helps
play
as well.
golf, we'll
Exactly.
go
Yeah, he's a
walking up
great guy.
mountains. I get on brilliantly with Stephen Craigan. I mean, travelling.
Cragen's good. He's very
Do
factual.
you know what I love about
He's
Craigan?
brilliant.
When we're at Motherwell, when he's working with the BBC or whatnot, we sit behind him in the STV seats right behind. He's so the notes he has, which you don't. You think maybe like Rory would have notes on stats and stuff, and the co-commentators just have to react to the game. They have to put in as much prep as you do.
Craigs is the best prepared pundit,
Which I think it goes a long, long way to, because when you listen, you understand that he's so well enveloped in not just if it was a Motherwell game, because he's a big, obviously, his ties to the club. Every club, he's got notes. I think it's fantastic.
What I would say about co-commentators and commentary teams is that I think one of the best co-commentators, and I don't think they know it yet because they don't do it often enough for me. I think Stephen Thompson's a very good co-commentator, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but I think he's a way better co-commentator than he is presenter. And I think he should be doing more games, because I thought during the Scotland World Cup qualifying campaign with the BBC, he did a couple of games. I thought he was really good because, again, a bit like what you're like, he speaks like a fan.
Yeah.
He speaks like an ordinary, everyday fan
you have to
with
care.
some facts
You
and
have to
stats.
care.
Yeah,
You have to
and
care.
Stephen for me is excellent, and I don't know why nobody's thought, right, he needs to be a co-commentator more often than not.
I've always thought that. Sorry, because I know you were wanting to move on, but if there's a game or a game becomes so boring that you as a commentator or a co-commentator start to lose your interest in it, then you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
Because the fan is watching at home, and even if there's not been a shot on target for 70 minutes and it's clearly petering out for a 0-0, the guy is watching at home on the edge of their seat and they care, so you have to.
Yes, yeah.
So, and it would be unfair not to continue on, because I've mentioned a couple of guys that I work with, travelling around Europe with Coisty. Joe Hart's been such a... He's been brilliant on the Celtic games, I think.
He's cut by... I did not expect to have Joe Hart. He's great on Match of the Day as well.
He's
I
excellent.
think he's excellent.
Yeah,
Joe
he's
Hart
so
surprised
good.
me.
He
He's
gives
very good.
such a good insight into
Yes.
the mindset of a professional footballer who has played at, you forget the level that he has
Man
played
City.
at.
I mean, he's played like Yaya Toure and all that.
75 caps or something for England.
Yeah.
And I've got to mention Chris Sutton as well, because he was that was my first sort of real foray into being a full-time commentator. I was nervous the first time meeting Chris, because I was like, yeah, exactly.
He does hear him speak nearly. What am I worried about?
He does have a stature about, because I used to interview him quite a lot in the noughties when he was there with Martin O'Neill and Celtic and Europe, etc. But I would also say the same about Chris Sutton, as I've just said about Stephen Thompson. I think he's a better co-commentator than he is a pundit, but I do think he's a really good pundit when he's on Match of the Day and when he's on 5 Live. For some strange reason, when he's in Scotland, he doesn't do himself any favours, and the Boydie Sutton thing doesn't work for me. I think it makes Scottish football look a bit of a joke, actually.
John and Stranraer, your biggest pet peeve about commentators or commentary?
Not letting it breathe.
Yeah.
Can I give you a great example of that? Ewan Murray, Sky Sports Golf, when Rory won the Masters last year. Mm-hmm. When that putt went in, he never mentioned, he didn't say, there was a timer on the screen, he didn't say a word for like 25, 30 seconds.
See, when he did come back, it was the perfect thing to say as well. It was like he'd waited for that moment.
But you have stuff like that scripted, wouldn't you? Or would you? On those big moments?
Do you know what? You might throughout, because golf's obviously an all-day thing, so you might, there's a few lines that I've come out with and people say, you must have written that beforehand. And I've gone, well, not before, but there might have been a moment in the game. I remember the Celtic at home to Lazio.
Oh,
Christopher Julian.
Oh, yes.
And this is the Glaswegian Coliseum. And if you go back, I don't actually keep all my notes, but if you were to bring them out from the fire and find my notes from that game, there's a wee scribble in the top corner that says Glasgow Coliseum. And I think I'd written it after did Christie equalise, and I wrote it at that moment and thought, because it was incredible. Like Celtic Park was just absolutely bonkers at that moment, and you're obviously playing against a Roman team in Lazio, so it's trying to sort of make that link, but it's just a wee scribble. And so in that sense, it is effectively scripted, but it's not, because it develops over time, and it became the Glaswegian Coliseum because it's like a little bit more of it's not a rhyme, but it's a bit closer. And you're like, but you can only say that if it's a like 90th minute winner. And then Fraser Forster actually had to come up with an incredible to keep it 2-1. Otherwise, oh no.
I came up with a line because I used to do some commentary in the noughties when Real Radio had the rights.
When you thought Christopher Williamo scored.
The Christopher Williamo one, which I'll never. You must have seen that thing. Anyway, it's so embarrassing. But I did a line where it was Celtic versus Rangers at Parkhead. I was doing commentary. It was Dalglish, myself, and Ruffy. And we were at Parkhead, Celtic versus Rangers. And again, a bit like what you were saying, it doesn't get scripted, it just happens. Gary Hooper, do you remember Gary Hooper?
Oh, yeah.
He scored a goal to make it, I think it was 2-0 to Celtic over Rangers. And I just went, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Hooper, man. I mean, but it just comes from nowhere. You don't know where it comes from. It just comes from nowhere.
We've got 2 final questions. We'll run through them quickly if we can, because we need to get Matt and Joburg.
Matt and Joburg.
Hello,
I can
Matt.
hear Frank McAvenny's. We're looking to get in this door.
Right, we need to hurry up then. Your greatest commentator of any sport?
Oh,
Bill McLaren.
Bill McLaren.
Yes. High five that
Love
one.
that.
Brilliant.
And the final question comes from Stephen in Belfast. Your advice for any youngster how to get into commentary?
Great question.
Don't be a Celtic or Rangers fan.
Well, look, there's more opportunities now than when I was.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a job. Honestly, I didn't. I was in the building, and I still didn't know a commentator was a job. I was taking the tapes back from the commentator to cut the highlights in STV when I was working with Southampton. Previous to that was Scott Sport, and then eventually it dawned on me that it was like, oh, those guys are actually
getting paid for that.
They're living human beings and getting to talk about football. So that I think it would just be to put yourself in positions to get opportunities. Say yes to anything.
You're right.
Yeah.
Anything and everything. And if that means that you go out and you do some boxing or some lawn bowls or
do it,
whatever, it doesn't matter. And also the industry is a really open book to. you might want to be a commentator or a presenter
Yeah.
or a reporter. And you might get there and go, you know what, actually, I'm a better presenter than I am a commentator. Or you might go, you know what, I really fancy going directing or being a camera operator, a sound engineer.
Correct.
Follow your passion, and I would give that advice to anyone in any industry or wanting to get into a job. Follow something that is your passion, because you're going to be doing it for the next 45 years and 5 days a week. But then once you're in there, that means you're going to be passionate about what you're doing. Then follow your skill set, and what you are best at is where you will thrive.
Mate, I'm in my 50s. I'm still trying to find it.
I said yes to everything now when I podcast with you and Cameron. Right, a big thank you to Rory Hamilton. What a man.
Rory.
Welcome back anytime, Rory. Thank you so much for joining us. A big thanks to you and Cameron. I have been Ronnie Charters, and you better keep that.
I've got my dick bottle opener. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good.
He's sorted.
I'll open up something tonight with it.
Thank you.
Not your kefir.
You
No,
know,
not my kefir,
jeez, he's not shitting properly. Right. He's no. God's hearts are tapping the league. Right, Callum Bell is back next week.
Yes, he is.
So the viewing figures will plummet, but anyway, we'll try and go anyway. Thank you so much for joining us. We're back next week. We'll see you then very soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
The STV Radio Football Show, brought to you by C.R. Smith.
The STV Radio Football Show is brought to you by C.R. Smith. C.R. Smith are local everywhere in Scotland. They offer great finance rates so you can get the best products for your home at an affordable rate. C.R. Smith are Scotland's top rated windows and doors company on Trustpilot. Make sure you're on the ball. Head to crsmith.co.uk to get stuck into the amazing windows and doors. Thank you very much to C.R. Smith, and thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time on the STV Radio Football Show.